Admiral Hyunwoo Park stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking out at the stars through the large window. His fleet of 200 ships floated nearby in space. To anyone watching, they looked old and patched up. Some had parts from alien ships welded onto their hulls. Others had mismatched engines that glowed different colors. The other alien races in the galaxy laughed at these ships. They called them junk. They said humans were the weakest species in known space. For 300 years, this is what the aliens believed. "Admiral, we're getting another message from the Galactic Council," said Captain Jenna Seo from her station. She was young but smart. Her fingers moved quickly over the control panel. "Put it on screen," Hyunwoo said. He was tired of these messages. The aliens always had something to complain about. The face of a Zilani appeared on the main screen. The Zilani looked like tall, thin humans, but with blue skin and 4 arms. This one wore fancy robes that sparkled with lights. "Human Fleet Commander," the Zilani said in a voice that sounded bored. "The Council demands you move your primitive vessels away from the trade route. Your ships are slowing down real traffic." Captain Gina looked angry, but Hyunwoo raised his hand to keep her quiet. "Of course," he said with a humble bow. "We will move right away." The Zilani cut the connection without saying goodbye. This happened every day. The aliens treated humans like they were nothing more than space garbage. On the planet below, Ambassador So-Young Kim sat in the Galactic Council chambers. The room was huge, with seats for hundreds of different alien species. Most of the seats were empty. Only the important races bothered to show up anymore. The Vorthak sat in the biggest section. They were large, covered in thick gray skin and sharp spines. Their leader, Warlord Krexthor, was twice the size of a human. His red eyes glowed as he spoke. "The human territories are getting too big," he growled. "They take up space that stronger races could use better." "Agreed," said the representative from the Keftar dynasty. The Keftar were the oldest race in the galaxy. They looked like walking skeletons made of white crystal. "Humans have been allowed to spread too far. In our time, weak species knew their place." So Young sat quietly in the small human section. She was used to being ignored. The other aliens talked about humans like they were not even in the room. She took notes and said nothing. This was how humans had survived for 3 centuries in space. General Taiman Lee walked through the halls of Earth's military headquarters. The building looked simple from the outside. Inside it was the same. Plain walls, basic furniture, nothing fancy. Visitors from other worlds always seemed disappointed. They expected more from the humans' main military base. "Sir, the monthly reports are in," said Lieutenant Yoonji Choi. She handed him a data pad. The numbers showed Earth's military strength. 200 ships. 50,000 soldiers. A few orbital stations. It looked weak compared to other races, but Taemin smiled as he read the real numbers. The ones hidden in code at the bottom of the report. Numbers that told a very different story. "Thank you, Lieutenant. Send word to all station commanders. Continue normal operations." Normal operations meant keeping the secret that humanity had been hiding for 300 years. The secret that would change everything if the aliens ever found out. Dr. Yoonji Choi worked late in her laboratory on the research station orbiting Jupiter. She studied alien technology and biology. At least, that's what her official job description said. The aliens thought she was trying to copy their inventions like a child playing with adult tools. They were wrong. Yoonji had been taking apart alien machines for 20 years. Not to copy them, but to understand them, to find their weak points. Every piece of technology the aliens shared with humans went through her lab first. She learned how their shields worked, how their weapons fired, how their engines pushed their ships through space. The aliens thought they were being kind by sharing old technology with the primitive humans. They had no idea they were giving away all their secrets. "Doctor, we just received another shipment from the Vorthak," her assistant said. "They say it's an old mining laser they don't need anymore." Yoonji smiled. "Perfect. Set it up in Lab 3. I want to see what makes it work." Meanwhile, Captain Donghyun Lim floated in space far from any star. His ship looked like a large asteroid from the outside. Inside it was something else entirely. Rows of construction machines worked day and night. Sparks flew as massive pieces of metal were welded together. Dong Hyun watched through the window as another ship took shape. This one was different from the junky vessels the aliens were used to seeing. It was sleek, powerful, and huge, much bigger than anything in the known galaxy. "Sir, that makes number 4000, his engineer reported. "The shipyard will be ready to launch the next batch in 2 weeks." "Good." Dong-hyun said. "How many more yards are online?" "All of them, sir. Every hidden facility is working at full capacity." Dong-hyun nodded. Humanity had been building in secret for centuries. While the aliens laughed at human ships, humans had been constructing shipyards in the dark spaces between stars. They used hollowed-out asteroids, dead moons, and empty solar systems. Places no one would think to look. Back on Earth, children learned about the aliens in school. They learned that humanity was weak and had to be careful. They learned that the Vorthak could destroy Earth if they wanted to. They learned that humans were lucky to be allowed in the Galactic Council at all. The children did not learn about the hidden shipyards. They did not learn about the secret fleets. They did not learn that every human adult knew the truth but kept quiet about it. This was how humans protected themselves. By looking weak while growing strong, Captain Mi Young-bae commanded one of the 200 visible ships. Her vessel, Soul's Pride, looked beaten up from the outside. The paint was faded and some of the hull plates were dented. When alien inspectors came aboard, they saw basic technology and simple weapons. They never looked close enough to see the hidden systems. They never noticed the extra power generators or the secret weapon ports. They never realized that the ship's computer was smarter than anything they had ever built. Mi Young's crew was trained to act confused and humble when aliens visited. They asked stupid questions and pretended not to understand advanced concepts. The aliens went away thinking humans were harmless and backwards. The truth was very different. Every human ship was a wolf dressed like a sheep. As the days passed, tension grew in the galaxy. The Vorthak Empire was getting more aggressive. They demanded tribute from smaller races. They took over planets that had useful resources. Other alien civilizations watched but did nothing to stop them. Warlord Krexthor had his eyes on human space. Humans controlled dozens of worlds with good mining and farming. The Vorthak leader thought it would be easy to take them. After all, what could 200 primitive ships do against the might of the Vorthak fleet? He was about to find out that appearances could be very deceiving. The galaxy was about to learn why humans had survived every disaster their home planet had ever thrown at them. They were about to discover that the quiet, weak species in the corner had been preparing for this moment for 300 years. The storm was coming, and humanity was ready. The message arrived at dawn on Earth. Admiral Hyunwoo Park was drinking his morning coffee when the communication alert sounded. He knew what it was before he opened it. The Vorthak had finally decided to make their move. "All senior staff to the command center immediately," he announced over the ship's communication system. Within minutes, his top officers filled the room. Their faces were serious but not surprised. They had been expecting this day for a long time. The message played on the main screen. Warlord Krexthor's massive form filled the display. His red eyes glowed with anger and his sharp teeth showed as he spoke. "Humans of the weak Earth," he growled. "The Vorthak Empire claims 3 of your outer worlds. You have 48 hours to remove all your people and surrender the planets to us. If you refuse, we will take them by force." Captain Jina Seo shook her head. 3 whole worlds. He's not even trying to hide what this is. "It's a test," said General Taemin Lee, who had joined them from Earth by video link. "The other alien races are watching. If we give in without a fight, everyone will know humans can be pushed around easily." Admiral Hyunwoo nodded. "And if we fight back with our visible fleet? 200 ships against the Vorthak Armada." Taemin laughed grimly. "The galaxy will watch us get destroyed and learn not to resist Vorthak demands." On the border between human and Vorthak space, Captain Jina Seo commanded the station New Busan. It was humanity's main outpost in the region. The station looked simple and basic, like most human constructions. But hidden deep in its core were systems that could coordinate thousands of ships across multiple star systems. "Captain, long-range sensors are picking up massive Vorthak fleet movements," reported her sensor officer. "Looks like they're not taking any chances." Jinnah studied the readings. "How many ships?" "Over 5,000, ma'am. Battleships, cruisers, fighters. It's the largest fleet movement we've seen in decades." The young captain whistled low. 5,000 ships was enough firepower to destroy entire solar systems. The Vorthak were making a statement. They wanted the galaxy to see what happened to species that did not obey them. "Send a message to Earth," Jinnah ordered. "Tell them the Vorthak are serious about this." Across the galaxy, alien civilizations watched the growing crisis with interest. In the Zilani Collective's main communication center, Hundreds of operators monitored human and Vorthak communications. They placed bets on how quickly the humans would surrender. "I give them 12 hours, said one Zilani officer. "Humans are smart enough to know when they're beaten." 6 hours, said another. "Once they see the size of the Vorthak fleet, they'll panic." The Zilani had always considered themselves smarter than other races. They built the best computers and communication networks in the galaxy. But they had never been good at reading human behavior. They thought logic always won over emotion. They did not understand that sometimes the logical choice was not the obvious one. Ambassador So-Young Kim stood before the Galactic Council once again. This time every seat was filled. Representatives from dozens of species had come to watch humanity's response to the Vorthak ultimatum. The chamber buzzed with excited conversation. "Ambassador Kim," said the council speaker, a tall alien with green skin and multiple eyes. "The Vorthak Empire has made certain demands of your people. What is humanity's response?" So-Young looked calm and confident despite being surrounded by aliens who expected her to beg for help. "The human government needs time to consider all options," she said. "We request 72 hours to give our final answer." The chamber erupted in noise. Aliens clicked, chirped, and growled their surprise. Many had expected immediate surrender. Others thought humans might ask for council protection. Warlord Krexthor's image appeared on a large screen. He had been watching from his flagship. 72 hours? He laughed. The sound was like rocks grinding together. "You want 3 days to decide if you will give us what we will take anyway? Very well, we grant your request. It will give us time to position our fleet for a proper demonstration." The Vorthak leader was enjoying himself. He planned to broadcast the destruction of human forces across the galaxy. It would serve as a warning to any other species that thought about resisting Vorthak expansion. "Prepare for the show, council members," Krexthor continued. "In 3 days you will see what happens to those who defy the Vorthak Empire." On Earth, General Taiman Lee walked through the halls of the military headquarters. But now the building was different. Hidden panels had opened in the walls. Screens showed tactical information from across human space. Officers moved quickly between stations, coordinating with hidden bases and secret fleets. "Sir, all station commanders are standing by," reported Major Subin Park. "Protocol Omega is ready for activation." Taiman nodded. Protocol Omega was the signal they had hoped never to use. It would activate every hidden human military asset at the same time. Once sent, there would be no going back to the old way of hiding their strength. "Not yet," Taiman said. "Let the Vorthak position their fleet first. We want the entire galaxy watching when we reveal the truth." Deep in space, engineer Sang Huno worked frantically in one of humanity's hidden shipyards. The facility was built inside a hollowed-out moon in a dead solar system. From the outside, it looked like any other airless rock floating in space. Inside, it was a marvel of human engineering. "Sir, we've got word from Earth," his assistant said. "Protocol Omega may be activated soon. All ships need to be ready for immediate deployment." Sang-hoon looked at the massive construction bays around him. Hundreds of ships in various stages of completion filled the facility. Some were finished and ready to launch. Others needed more work. "Tell the construction crews to focus on the completed vessels," he ordered. "We need every ship that can fly ready to move out." The ships being built here were not like the junky vessels the aliens were used to seeing. These were sleek, powerful warships armed with weapons that could punch through any known shield technology. Their engines could push them faster than anything else in the galaxy. Their computers could think and react quicker than any alien pilot. Captain Dong-Hyun Lim commanded the first of these new ships. The vessel was called Inchen's Wrath, and it was 3 times larger than the biggest Vorthak battleship. Its hull was black as space itself, designed to be nearly invisible until it was too late. "Captain, we're receiving activation codes from Earth," his communication officer reported. "Understood," Dong-Hyun replied. "Signal all ships in our group. Prepare for combat deployment." Around him, his bridge crew worked with calm efficiency. They had trained for this moment their entire careers. They knew their ship was superior to anything the aliens had built. They also knew that in a few hours the galaxy would learn the truth about human military power. Dr. Yoonji Choi monitored alien communications from her research station. Her equipment intercepted messages between Vorthak ships as they moved into position. She also watched signals from other alien civilizations as they prepared to observe the coming battle. "Doctor, the aliens are all focused on the Vorthak fleet," her assistant reported. None of them are scanning the outer systems for unusual activity. Perfect, Yunji smiled. They're so busy watching the obvious threat they're not looking for the hidden ones. This was exactly what humanity had been counting on. For 300 years they had studied alien psychology and behavior. They knew how other species thought and reacted. They understood that most aliens only saw what they expected to see. The Vorthak expected to fight 200 primitive human ships. The other aliens expected to watch a quick slaughter. None of them were prepared for what was actually coming. As the 72-hour deadline approached, tension filled the galaxy. News networks from dozens of species prepared special broadcasts. Military analysts made predictions about how quickly human resistance would collapse. Betting pools formed on everything from how many human ships would be destroyed to how long the battle would last. On the human colony worlds that the Vorthak wanted, civilian populations went about their daily lives. They seemed calm and unworried. This surprised alien observers who expected panic and evacuation. What the observers did not know was that every human civilian had been briefed on what was about to happen. The children still went to school. Adults still went to work. But they all knew that their seemingly weak species was about to show the galaxy something it had never seen before. They knew that the Vorthak Armada, for all its size and power, was walking into a trap that had been 3 centuries in the making. Admiral Hyun-woo Park stood on his bridge and watched the countdown timer. In 6 hours, the ultimatum would expire. The Vorthak fleet was in position. The galaxy was watching. Everything humanity had worked for was about to be revealed. All stations report ready, sir, Captain Jenna reported. Very well, Hyun-woo said calmly. Send the activation signal. Let's show them what humans are really capable of. The 72 hours were up. Captain Mi Young-bae stood on the bridge of Seoul's Pride, watching as the massive Vorthak fleet moved toward human space. 5,000 alien warships formed a wall of steel and energy that stretched across several star systems. The sight would have terrified anyone who did not know what was coming next. Ma'am, the Vorthak are broadcasting their attack on all frequencies, her communication officer reported. Every species in the galaxy is watching this. Good, Mi Young smiled. Let them watch. They're about to see something they'll never forget. On his flagship, War Commander Thexval prepared for what he thought would be an easy victory. The Vorthak officer was smaller than Warlord Krexthor, but twice as mean. He had destroyed dozens of alien fleets in his career. Today he planned to add the human fleet to that list. All ships begin the attack, he ordered. Show these humans what real power looks like. The Vorthak fleet opened fire. Thousands of energy beams and missiles streaked toward the human ships. The galaxy watched, expecting to see immediate destruction. Instead, something impossible happened. The human ships simply vanished. One moment, 200 vessels were floating in space. The next moment, they were gone. Not destroyed, gone. The Vorthak weapons hit empty space where the ships had been just seconds before. What? Thexval stared at his sensors in confusion. Where did they go? His answer came from behind him. Seoul's Pride materialized directly behind his flagship and fired a single shot. The blast went through the Vorthak ship's shields like they were not even there. Thexval's mighty warship exploded in a ball of fire. Across the battlefield, the same thing happened to dozens of other Vorthak vessels. Human ships appeared and disappeared like ghosts, striking without warning and vanishing before return fire could reach them. Admiral Hyun-woo Park watched the battle from his command ship. Phase 1 complete, he announced calmly. Begin Phase 2. From the empty space between stars, new signals began appearing on long-range sensors. At first they were faint and far away. Then they grew stronger and stronger. War Commander Thexval, now commanding from a backup ship, watched his tactical display with growing horror. Sir, we're detecting massive objects approaching from multiple directions, his sensor officer reported. His voice shook with fear. The signatures they're huge. The first ship to become visible was Captain Dong-hyun Lim's Incheon's Wrath. The massive vessel emerged from the dark like a sea monster rising from the depths. Its black hull gleamed with energy as weapon ports opened along its sides. This is Captain Dong-hyun Lim of the Earth Defense Force. His voice boomed across all communication channels. You are ordered to withdraw from human space immediately. Thexval stared at the massive ship in shock. It was 3 times the size of his largest battleship. Where had it come from? How had the humans built something like this without anyone knowing? His questions were answered as more ships appeared. Hundreds of them, then thousands. Each one was larger and more advanced than anything the galaxy had ever seen. They moved with perfect coordination, surrounding the Vorthak fleet from all directions. Dr. Yoonji Choi monitored the galactic communication networks from her research station. Alien species across the galaxy were sending frantic messages to each other. The words impossible and how appeared in dozens of different languages. Doctor, we're receiving surrender requests from 17 different species, her assistant reported. They're asking for immediate diplomatic contact. Tell them to wait in line, Yoonji laughed. We're a bit busy right now. She pulled up the technical specifications of the ships now surrounding the Vorthak fleet. Each vessel represented centuries of secret human research and development. They incorporated technology that was generations ahead of anything the aliens possessed. The quantum displacement drives that let human ships appear and disappear had been developed from studying alien teleportation experiments. The shield-piercing weapons came from analyzing every defensive system the galaxy used. The coordination computers were built using processing power that made alien artificial intelligence look like children's toys. Captain Subin Park commanded one of the smaller human vessels, a ship called Busan's Thunder. Even this small ship was larger than most alien cruisers. She watched as a squadron of Vorthak fighters tried to attack her vessel. Engage defensive systems, she ordered. Laser turrets emerged from hidden ports along her ship's hull. They moved with inhuman speed and precision, tracking and destroying every enemy fighter in seconds. The Vorthak pilots did not even have time to fire a single shot. That's what happens when your computers can think faster than organic brains, Subin told her crew. Our reaction time is measured in microseconds, not seconds. On Earth, General Taemin Lee coordinated the largest military operation in human history. Hidden facilities all across human space were activating simultaneously. Shipyards disguised as asteroid mines launched their completed vessels. Military bases built inside hollow moons opened their doors and deployed fleets that had been waiting decades for this moment. Sir, all sectors report successful activation, Major Ye Jin-han reported. Total fleet strength is now at operational capacity. Taemin looked at the numbers on his screen and smiled. 50,000 ships. Not the 200 that the aliens knew about, but 50,000 vessels of war. Each one was more advanced than anything the galaxy had ever seen. Deploy them in standard formation around all alien homeworlds, he ordered. Let's make sure everyone understands the new situation. The revelation spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Human fleets appeared near every major alien civilization simultaneously. Species that had never seen a human ship before suddenly found Earth's warships holding position above their capital cities. The Zelani Collective, so proud of their technology, discovered that several research stations they had allowed humans to build were actually military installations. The humans had been studying Zelani computer systems for decades, learning their weaknesses and surpassing their capabilities. Ambassador So Young Kim stood before the Galactic Council once again. But this time the chamber was silent. Every alien representative stared at her in shock and fear. The screens around the room showed human fleets positioned throughout the galaxy. You lied to us, the council speaker said quietly. For 300 years you pretended to be weak. We never lied, So Young replied calmly. We simply allowed you to believe what you wanted to believe. You saw primitive ships and assumed we were primitive. You saw humble behavior and assumed we were helpless. You made the mistake of confusing caution with weakness. The ancient Keftar dynasty representative spoke for the first time in decades. The crystal being's voice sounded like wind through broken glass. How long have you been preparing for this? Since the day we first met alien life, So Young answered. We learned from history. Every species that survives contact with a more advanced civilization does so by being stronger, smarter, or more prepared. We chose to be all three. War Commander Thexaval found himself trapped in the middle of a human fleet that seemed to stretch forever in all directions. His 5,000 ships, which had seemed so powerful just hours before, were completely surrounded by an enemy force 10 times larger. Sir, we're receiving a communication from the human flagship, his officer reported. Admiral Hyunwoo Park's face appeared on the main screen. He looked calm and professional, like a man discussing the weather. War Commander Thexval, you have exactly 1 minute to order all Vorthak ships to withdraw from human space. After that, we will consider you hostile invaders and respond accordingly. Thexval looked around at his tactical displays. Every screen showed human ships in perfect formation, their weapons powered and ready. He had been a warrior his entire life, but he was not stupid. There was no victory to be found here. All Vorthak vessels, he said over the fleet communication channel. Withdraw immediately. Full retreat. The massive alien armada turned and fled. The same ships that had come to conquer human worlds now ran as fast as their engines could carry them. Behind them, the human fleet watched but did not pursue. There was no need. The message had been delivered. Captain Jinna Seo watched the retreating Vorthak ships from her station on New Busan. Around her, human vessels that had been hiding for centuries moved openly through space. The masquerade was over. Humanity had revealed its true strength to the galaxy. "Ma'am, we're getting communication requests from over 40 different species," her officer reported. "They all want to establish immediate diplomatic contact." Jinna nodded. This was exactly what Earth's leaders had expected. Fear was a powerful motivator. Species that had ignored humanity for centuries now desperately wanted to be friends. "Route all requests through Earth's diplomatic corps," she ordered. "Tell them we'll get back to them when we have time." Engineer Sang-hoon. O watched from his hidden shipyard as the last of his vessels departed for their assigned positions. The massive facility that had been humanity's secret for so long was now openly broadcasting its location. There was no more need for hiding. "Sir, Earth Command is asking for a full inventory of our construction capabilities," his assistant said. "Tell them we can build 1,000 new ships per month," Sang-hoon replied. "More if we need to." The retreat of the Vorthak fleet was just the beginning. Across the galaxy, humanity's hidden infrastructure activated like a sleeping giant awakening. General Taemin Lee stood in Earth's command center, watching as centuries of secret preparation finally revealed itself. "All hidden facilities report successful activation," Major Yejin Han announced. "Shipyards, military bases, research stations, and defensive platforms are now operating openly for the first time." Taemin studied the tactical display showing human assets throughout the galaxy. Red dots marked locations that aliens had thought were empty space or harmless civilian operations. Now those same dots showed military installations powerful enough to threaten entire star systems. "Begin full deployment," he ordered. "Show them everything." Admiral Yejin Han commanded the massive dreadnought Gwangju's Vengeance from its bridge that was larger than most alien ships. The vessel was the first of humanity's Titan-class battleships, so large that it had its own gravity generators and internal transport systems. "Admiral, we're receiving targeting data from Earth Command," her tactical officer reported. "We're assigned to the Vorthak home system." "Excellent," Yejin smiled. "Signal the fleet. All ships prepare for dimensional jump." Around her massive flagship, dozens of other human vessels prepared for the journey. Each ship was a marvel of engineering that incorporated technology the galaxy thought impossible. They could travel faster than light, without using the standard jump gates that connected star systems. They could appear anywhere in the galaxy within hours. The human fleet vanished from normal space and reappeared above the Vorthak homeworld. The planet below was covered in massive cities and military installations. Orbital platforms bristled with weapons designed to defend against any invasion. None of it mattered. Gwangju's Vengeance alone carried more firepower than the entire Vorthak home defense fleet. The other human ships with it could have destroyed the planet's surface several times over. But destruction was not the goal. Fear was. War Commander Thexval had barely returned from his defeat at human hands when alarms began screaming throughout the Vorthak capital. He rushed to the command center to find chaos. Officers ran between stations, shouting reports and trying to make sense of their sensors. "Sir, massive unknown vessels have appeared in our system," the sensor operator reported. "They're holding position above the homeworld just outside weapons range." Thexval looked at the tactical display and felt his blood turn cold. The human ships floating above his world were impossibly large. The flagship alone was the size of a small moon. Its hull gleamed with energy that made the space around it ripple like water. "Are they charging weapons?" he asked quietly. "No, sir. They're just waiting." A communication signal came through from the human flagship. Admiral Yejin Han's face appeared on the main screen. She looked calm and professional, but her message was clear. "This is Admiral Han of the Earth Defense Force," she said. "We are not here to attack your world. We are here to demonstrate the consequences of threatening human space. Your government has exactly 24 hours to formally withdraw all claims on human territory and publicly apologize for your unprovoked aggression. If you refuse, we will demonstrate why that would be a mistake." The communication ended. Thexaval stared at the blank screen, knowing that everything had changed forever. The Vorthak Empire, masters of the galaxy for over 1,000 years, were being dictated to by a species they had considered primitives just days before. Meanwhile, Captain Hyojin Lee positioned her fleet above the Zelani homeworld. The Zelani had always prided themselves on being the most technologically advanced species in the galaxy. Their cities floated in the clouds of their gas giant homeworld, powered by energy systems that other races could barely understand. "Captain, we're detecting massive scanning operations from the surface," her science officer reported. "The Zelani are trying to analyze our ships." "Let them look," Hyojin replied. "They won't learn anything useful. The human ships use technology that was generations beyond what the Zelani could comprehend. Their quantum computers operated on principles that alien science had not yet discovered. Their weapons drew power from controlled reactions that turned matter directly into energy. Their shields could deflect attacks that would destroy entire fleets." On the planet's surface, the Zelani leadership gathered an emergency session. They had spent decades studying the primitive human technology they thought they understood. Now they realized they had been looking at decoys and false displays, while the real human science advanced far beyond their reach. "How is this possible?" demanded the Zelani science director. "We monitored their technological development for centuries. They were decades behind us in every field." "Apparently not," the defense minister replied grimly. "Either they were hiding their advances or they made breakthrough discoveries that we missed completely." The truth was both. Humanity had been hiding their real progress while secretly studying every piece of alien technology they could get their hands on. Dr. Yunji, Choi and thousands of researchers like her had spent centuries reverse engineering alien systems and improving upon them. Admiral Minho Jiang took his fleet to the ancient Keftar homeworld. The crystal beings had ruled their section of the galaxy for 10,000 years. They considered themselves the wisest and most experienced species in known space. Their cities were carved from living crystal that grew according to mathematical patterns too complex for most minds to understand. "Sir, the Keftar are requesting immediate communication," his officer reported. "Put them through," Minho ordered. The face that appeared on screen was not really a face at all. The Keftar representative looked like a sculpture made of white crystal, with lights that pulsed where eyes might be. When it spoke, its voice sounded like music played on glass instruments. "Human Commander," the being said, "we wish to discuss the situation that has developed. The Keftar dynasty has maintained peace in this galaxy for millennia. We do not understand this sudden display of military force." Minho smiled. "You don't understand because you never bothered to really look at us. For 300 years you've treated humans like children playing with toys. You shared outdated technology and ancient knowledge, thinking you were helping primitives catch up to civilized standards." The crystal being's lights pulsed faster. "We offered guidance and wisdom accumulated over 10,000 years of civilization." "You offered scraps," Minho replied coldly. "Meanwhile, we studied everything you gave us and built upon it. We took your 10,000-year-old knowledge and improved it in ways you never imagined possible." The human fleet around the Keftar homeworld began a coordinated demonstration. Ships moved in patterns that showed their incredible speed and maneuverability. Weapon systems powered up and generated energy readings that made the planet's sensors overload. Defense grids that had protected the world for millennia suddenly looked fragile and outdated. Dr. Yunji, Choi coordinated with research teams across the galaxy as they revealed humanity's technological achievements. The aliens had been sharing their science with humans for centuries, thinking they were helping a backward species catch up. Instead, they had been feeding information to the most adaptable and innovative minds in the galaxy. "Doctor, we're getting requests for technological exchanges from 47 different species," her assistant reported. "They're offering everything from rare resources to territorial concessions." "Tell them we'll consider their offers," Yunji replied. "But make it clear that humanity is no longer the junior partner in these relationships." The galaxy was learning that humans had not just matched alien technology, they had surpassed it. Every system the aliens had shared, humans had improved. Every weakness in alien designs humans had eliminated. every limitation in alien science humans had overcome. General Taemin Lee received reports from human fleets positioned throughout the galaxy. Every major alien civilization now found themselves face to face with Earth's military might. The reactions were exactly what Earth's strategists had predicted. "Sir, we have formal surrender offers from the hegemony of Taldar," Major Subin Park reported. "They're requesting immediate defensive pacts and offering to share all their military technology." "And the Crystalline Collective?" "Same thing. They want protection from other species who might see them as weak, now that humans are the dominant military power." Taemin nodded. This was the psychology of fear. Once aliens realized that humanity was now the strongest species in the galaxy, they all wanted to be on humanity's side. Former enemies begged to become allies. Neutral species offered tribute and cooperation. Captain Subin Park demonstrated humanity's true technological superiority as her ship, Busan's Thunder, engaged a group of Vorthak vessels that had not yet received the retreat order. The enemy ships fired every weapon they had at her vessel. The energy beams and missiles that should have destroyed her ship simply vanished into her defensive systems. "Shields at 100%, her tactical officer reported calmly. "Their weapons are having no effect. Return fire," Subin ordered. One shot, minimum power. A single beam of energy lanced out from her ship and struck the lead Vorthak vessel. The alien ship's shields collapsed instantly, and the beam. 6 hours after the Vorthak ultimatum expired, the galaxy had changed forever. Admiral Hyun-woo Park stood on his flagship's bridge, watching tactical displays that showed human fleets positioned above every major alien homeworld. 300 years of careful planning had culminated in the most successful military operation in galactic history. "Sir, we're receiving communication from Earth Command," Captain Jinna Seo reported. "The President wants a full status report on the deployment." Hyun-woo smiled. "Tell her that Phase 3 is complete. All target worlds are secured. All alien fleets have either surrendered or withdrawn to defensive positions around their homeworlds." Phase 3 had been the simultaneous appearance of human battle fleets at strategic locations throughout the galaxy. Not just border systems or military outposts, but the heart worlds of every major civilization. In a single coordinated operation, humanity had demonstrated that they could strike anywhere, anytime without warning. Above the Vorthak homeworld, Fleet Admiral Jae-won Kim commanded the massive battle station Terra's Resolve. The station was the size of a small moon and carried enough firepower to destroy entire solar systems. Its presence in orbit above the Vorthak capital sent a clear message. Resistance was futile. Warlord Krexthor himself appeared on the communication screen, looking smaller and less threatening than before. The proud Vorthak leader who had demanded human worlds just days earlier now seemed desperate and afraid. "Human commander," Krexthor said, his voice lacking its usual arrogance. "The Vorthak Empire formally withdraws all claims on human territory. We apologize for any misunderstanding about our intentions." "Apology accepted," Jae-won replied calmly. "Now we need to discuss reparations for the military action you forced us to take. Your government will provide compensation to cover the costs of deploying our fleets." Krexthor's red eyes widened. "You want us to pay you? You started this conflict by threatening human civilians and demanding our worlds," Jae-won explained patiently. "The deployment of 50,000 warships is expensive. Someone has to pay for it." The Vorthak leader looked around at his advisors, but none of them could offer any solutions. They were completely surrounded by human forces that could wipe out their civilization if they chose to resist. What do you want?" Krexthor asked quietly. "Mining rights to the Cathara asteroid belt, trade agreements favorable to human shipping, and a formal treaty recognizing human sovereignty over all our current territory, plus any worlds we choose to colonize in the future." The demands were harsh but not impossible to meet. The Vorthak had expected complete conquest and slavery. Instead, they were being offered a chance to survive as a subordinate but independent species. "Agreed," Krexthor said quickly. "The Vorthak Empire accepts these terms." Captain Hyojin Lee received similar capitulations from the Xylani collective above their homeworld. The technologically advanced species that had always considered themselves superior to humans now competed to offer their most advanced research in exchange for protection. "Captain, the Xylani Science Council is transmitting their complete database of quantum computing research," her communication officer reported. They're also offering to share their gravitational manipulation technology. Accept the quantum research, Hyo-jin ordered. As for the gravity tech, tell them we already developed superior versions decades ago. But we appreciate the gesture. This was the truth. Human scientists had used Zelani gravity generators as a starting point, then improved upon them to create the systems that powered humanity's largest ships. The aliens were offering humanity technology that humans had already surpassed. The pattern repeated itself across the galaxy. Species that had once looked down on human science now discovered that their primitive neighbors had advanced far beyond them. Technologies the aliens considered cutting edge were already outdated by human standards. Admiral Min Ho-jang negotiated with the ancient Keftar dynasty from his position above their crystal homeworld. The beings that had ruled their section of space for 10,000 years were perhaps the most shocked by humanity's revelation. Your species is less than 1,000 years old in space, the Keftar elder communicated through crystalline harmonics. How can you have advanced so far so quickly? Because we had good teachers, Minho replied diplomatically. Every species we encountered shared knowledge with us. We learned from all of you and built upon what you taught us. The crystal being's lights pulsed in what might have been confusion. But the knowledge we shared was basic introductory material suitable for a developing civilization. Yes, but you gave us the foundations. We used those foundations to build something greater. This was humanity's greatest strength, adaptability. Where alien species became comfortable with their existing technology and stopped innovating, humans never stopped improving and advancing. They took alien science as a starting point and pushed it in directions the original creators never imagined. Dr. Yunji Choi coordinated with research stations across human space as alien governments began offering their complete scientific databases in exchange for protection and trade agreements. The amount of information flowing into human hands was staggering. Doctor, we're receiving technological data from over 60 different species, her assistant reported. Most of it is redundant with research we completed years ago, but there are some interesting, unique developments. Catalog everything, Yunji ordered. Even if we don't need the technology now, it might be useful for historical research or trade negotiations. The massive information exchange served another purpose beyond advancing human science. It demonstrated to the alien species just how far behind they had fallen. Technologies they thought were revolutionary were already old news to human researchers. General Taemin Lee established humanity's new position in galactic politics from Earth's expanded command center. The facility had grown from a simple military headquarters into the nerve center of a galactic empire. Representatives from dozens of species waited in orbital stations for the chance to negotiate with human officials. Sir, we have formal requests for protection packs from over 40 civilizations, Major Yejin Han reported. They're offering everything from territory to exclusive trade rights. Set up a priority system, Taemin ordered. Species that have been friendly to humans get first consideration. Former enemies have to wait and prove their sincerity. The queue of alien species seeking human favor grew longer every day. Civilizations that had ignored humanity for centuries now competed desperately for Earth's attention. The galaxy had learned that being on humanity's good side was the key to future survival and prosperity. Ambassador So Young Kim presided over the new galactic order from the rebuilt council chambers on Earth. The old council had been dominated by military strength and ancient traditions. The new system operated on principles that humanity had developed. Through 3 centuries of careful observation, the new galactic cooperative will operate on the basis of mutual benefit rather than domination, she announced to the assembled alien representatives. Species that contribute to galactic peace and prosperity will be rewarded. Those that threaten others will face consequences. The aliens nodded eagerly. They had seen what happened to the Vorthak Empire when they threatened human interests. None of them wanted to face 50,000 human warships above their homeworlds. What about territorial expansion? Asked the representative from the hegemony of Taldar. Will humans be claiming additional worlds? Humans will colonize systems that are currently uninhabited or unclaimed, So Young replied. We have no interest in taking worlds that belong to other species. There's plenty of space in the galaxy for everyone. This was another demonstration of human wisdom. Rather than conquering existing alien worlds, humanity would expand into empty systems using their advanced technology to make uninhabitable worlds livable. The galaxy was vast enough for everyone if resources were used efficiently. Captain Subin Park commanded one of the human fleets responsible for patrolling trade routes and maintaining galactic security. Her ships moved between star systems with a speed that impressed alien observers. What used to take weeks now took hours thanks to human drive technology. "Captain, we're receiving a distress call from a Zilani cargo convoy," her communication officer reported. "They're under attack by pirates in the Kepler sector." "Set course immediately," Subin ordered. Maximum speed. Within 30 minutes, her fleet arrived at the battle site. The pirate ships took one look at the human vessels and immediately surrendered. They had heard the stories about human military superiority and had no desire to test it themselves. "This is Captain Park of the Earth Defense Force," she broadcast to the pirates. "You will release the captured cargo and submit to arrest. Any attempt to resist will be met with overwhelming force." The pirates complied immediately. They transferred their prisoners back to the Zilani convoy and prepared to be taken into custody. The reputation of human military power made most conflicts end before they began. Engineer Sang-Hoon Oh supervised the construction of new human colonies on previously uninhabitable worlds. Using advanced terraforming technology that combined the best aspects of various alien sciences, human engineers could transform dead rocks into garden worlds in just a few years.